everyone, myself M. Kiran Babu and I am currently pursuing my bachelor's degree in metallurgical engineering from PSG College of Technology, and my topic is green pelletization for iron and steel industry. As we all know that iron ore and the iron ore pellet are important source of iron for the production of steel. Also, there has been huge requirement of steel all over the world. Thus, the iron ore production has increased rapidly. Also, many of the industries are starting to use iron ore fines and low-grade iron ores nowadays. It is believed that in the near future, the pelletization plant will increase globally. Now, here in the chart to the right, we can see that the China has the highest pelletization capacity, which is being followed by United States and Brazil. India makes it to about top 10 of this. Now coming to agglomeration. Agglomeration is basically the process of size enlargement from fine particles. Now one may ask, why agglomeration? It paves the way for using fine particles which may go to waste if not. And also there is a ease in handling and transportation. Also it can be used for process improvements. Like addition of coal in the pellet during its production may increase the productivity of the blast furnace. Agglomeration in iron and steel industry can be broadly categorized into sintering and pelletizing. Now sintering is basically heating just below its fusion temperature. We may use the term incipient fusion, and it has low permeability and it doesn't give much of a regular shape. Now on the other hand, pelletization has high permeability and it more or less produces a uniform shape. Now coming to the pelletization process. Pelletization method of agglomeration of iron ore particles, fines. Now here we see the flowchart of process of pelletizing. It can be broadly categorized into two. The first one being balling, where the pellets of required shape and size are being produced due to the tumbling of the disc or drum, and the second one being induration, which is the later stage in the form of pellets. And the product of the balling is known as green balls or wet balls. Now coming to the principle of pelletization, we all know that depending on the surface area of particle, it has some surface free energy. We can see the particles on the left which are in the dry state. Thus, they have a tendency to attract each other. Now, when water is being added, a solid liquid interface is being established between these particles. Thus, as the liquid layer between two particles goes on decreasing, the solid particles come together. That is how agglomeration takes place. Now, this driving force for the process of agglomeration can be attributed to the rotational force of the disc or drum and the reduction in the interfacial area between two solid particles. Now coming to green pellet formation or green pelletization, it is one of the most important steps and the initial step in the process of pelletization. The ground ore from the ball mill, there is the iron ore and the additives, and along with this the bentonite, it may be added or not added, the reason will be explained further in the presentation, and moisture about 10% is being mixed in a disc or drum. The formation of green pellet can be attributed to two forces, that is the rotational force and surface tension, as I mentioned earlier in the principle of pelletization. The inclination of the disc or drum is basically fixed in industry between that of 45 to 49 degrees, and the diameter of the disc is 3.7 to 5.5 meter. Now the forces responsible for pellet formation: capillary force due to the solid liquid interface and adhesion forces due to the binder. Here we see the mechanism of green ball formation. It basically includes three steps. The first one being nucleation, second one being coalescence, and third one being layering. Nuclear is nothing but the step solid liquid interface that I explained earlier, where two particles come together and the liquid layer becomes thin and they attract each other and form agglomerates. Here this is called as a nuclei. Now when two nuclei come together and forms a larger particle, it is known as coalescence. I mean, after that, many particles come together, thus it forms a larger particle in the disc or drum it is being carried out. And layering. This is a backup. Like when the particles are being hit in the walls of the pelletizer, they may break into smaller particles. Thus, these smaller particles come and attach to larger particles, thus forming final large pellets. Now, here this is the principal fundamental understanding of the green ball formation, this graph to the right. Here we see three regions, the first one being nuclei growth region, second one being transition, and third one being ball growth region. Now the nuclei growth region must be as small as possible and transition region cannot be avoided at all. Thus we can reduce it. And the ball growth region, in this graph we see between that of the 8 and 16 millimeter. Thus it must start as soon as possible for a better yield. Here we see the factors influencing green pelletization. Basically, we have 5 factors. The first two factors, that is the moisture content and the feed size distribution, are related. The feed size distribution basically controls the nuclear formation in the green ball formation, and the moisture content, it can be either pre-moistened or added during the pelletization process. Here question rises like at what point of time and how moisture is added. We can add at any point of time, or it may be added in the form of spraying, or in the form of drops. Now coming to binders, binder can be added or not. It basically depends on the inherent binding property. If the water plus that of the mix from that ball mill is having enough strength, then there is no necessity for adding binder. If the strength of the pellets are relatively low, we may add binder in order to increase the strength. Now coming to inclination and speed of the disc or drum, the inclination in the industry is basically fixed about 45 to 49 degree in the case of disc and drum, and the speed of the drum is basically based on the how fast or slow we require the product. Now pellet, the time of the pelletization also plays a key role. We must not leave it for too long or too short. According to the requirement, we must adjust it. Now the last two gives us the required size and shape and the properties. Then the first three are prime movers. Now coming to pellet quantity measurements, the first one being drop number test. The pellets are being dropped from a particular height into a steel plate, and a pellet must withstand about 4 drops. Thus, we can conclude that it has the sufficient strength. And compressive strength, a pellet is being subjected to compressive strength between that of the two plates. Thus, it is believed that a pellet must withstand about 2 kilogram force in order to resist structural breakage during transportation due to the pellets that are being present at the top. The D50 test basically gives the particle size distribution. Here we can see it is a point at 50% cumulative weight. It gives the percentage material present above the average size and percentage material present below the average size. Thus, it gives the particle size distribution in terms of coarseness and fineness. Now coming to conclusion, as I mentioned earlier, there has been huge requirement of steel on the global market. Thus, green pelletization is the need of the hour, and the pellets have high porosity and good permeability. Also, they are easily reducible at elevated temperature. They have good strength, so they don't undergo structural breakage. And also factors such as moisture, binder, and feed size distribution are the prime movers in the green pellet formation. I would like to thank IIM Jamshedpur chapter, CSIR NML, and Tata Steel Limited for conducting EBTTD and for giving me opportunity to present myself. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Appreciate it. Thank you.